Let's throw it back to 2001. I was a 14-year-old new kid who had left a huge public school that I absolutely hated and was now attending a tiny Catholic school that had only been around for 3 years. Needless to say, they were thrilled to get one more student on the roster and more money coming in. I didn't know a soul at school, but everyone was very welcoming and sweet. It was decades before I realized I was not actually romantically attracted to boys, so I tended to assume I was straight because of the occasional one-sided, hopeless crush on some oblivious guy I barely spoke to. Then, I met Garrett. He was interesting. Always took the dress code seriously, often wearing three-piece suits and polished leather shoes to school. We had one of those awful double-standard boys can wear whatever, but no jeans, girls can't even wear jewelry or makeup, dress codes. I thought he seemed very mature and cultured for someone my age. We started talking a lot, and I thought I was crushing on him. He didn't seem to catch on, but I didn't mind because I could create entire relationships in my head without any input from the crush themselves. So I was good. The downside was that Garrett had textbook Asperger's syndrome before it was changed to borderline autism spectrum disorder. Alone, he was funny and nice, but put him in a group of kids and he was an obnoxious, rude, tactless person with no volume control. I knew nothing about autism or Asperger's until I did some research much later on and realized, yep, he ticked every box. Consequentially, everyone including our teachers thought he was rude and weird, and he was not popular. Sometimes I tried to gently point out why people got annoyed at him, and he seemed genuinely appreciative because he never picked up on social cues. It did start to wear on me though, and eventually I stopped talking to him as much. I didn't understand Asperger's, so I often thought he was just doing this on purpose and trying to be a class clown. It got old and my crush-like feelings fizzled out. By now, the entire school thought we were dating. I denied it again and again, but nobody believed me. They initially had fun teasing me about it. Typical, ooh, you're sitting with him at lunch. Stuff, easy to brush off. But then they decided I should not date him. They had no problem with me. Oh no, I was nice. But Garrett, according to them, he was, Jean-Ralphio voice, the worst. A total jerk, irredeemably rude. Not the guy for you. I did not appreciate this, even if I agreed with them about how rude he could be. That did not give them the right to tell me not to do something I wasn't doing to begin with. And as is always the case, as soon as you deny a rumor, it just gets stronger. This went on for weeks. It would have been embarrassing enough if this was only coming from the students, but even our school administrative assistant, we only had one, that's how small this place was, came up to me one day and asked me point blank if I was dating Garrett. When I said no, she said, good, because he's really disrespectful toward women. That was the only conversation we ever had. At one point, my fucking principal called me into the office to inquire as to whether or not these rumors were true. Garrett himself was not there, just me. And I reiterated for the millionth time that, no, we were not and had never been dating. Even the principal seemed glad to hear this and encouraged me to focus on schoolwork. I was, and not dating. No problem. Thanks so much for getting involved in my personal life. Bye. The gossip eventually died down and everyone went on with their lives. Garrett and I were a little uncomfortable around each other for a while, but we graduated still friends. He improved slightly in terms of social interaction, but it was hard for him the entire time. I hope he's doing better today. On a final note, looking back, I am really disappointed in everyone who preached tolerance and acceptance, yet acted like I had no business being nice to the kid who had the most trouble fitting in and making friends. What a lovely Christian attitude.